For people who don't know exactly what ayahuasca is, maybe give them the 10-cent, explanation of what ayahuasca is just from a, materialist, reductionist standpoint, and then talk about, some of the somatic and psychic experiences you were having and how drinking the ayahuasca in the presence of those bad shamans opened up their ability to kind of fuck with you and what that was like.
Sure. I mean, first of all, ayahuasca is a tea. So the easiest way to understand it is it's just a tea. And you make tea all day long, right? You take some plants, you boil it in water, and you get a tea. It just so happens that these native guys, figured out that this tea, if you mixed a vine called ayahuasca or vine of the soul with these leaves called chacruna, which have dimethyltryptamine in them, that the combination would make an unbelievably potent tea, like much stronger than your matcha green tea, much stronger than a cup of black tea. I mean, this was going to be literally the strongest tea that you were going to probably come across, this side of the earth. And yeah, I mean, you've been there.
Yes,
and so ultimately you make this tea. There's a lot of different recipes for the tea. So, there's a lot of different ways people make different admixtures and stuff. They boil it for a long time. There are a lot of rituals around making it. They really get into the mythological ritualistic expression of this because it's considered a very sacred medicine. And ultimately you come out with this very refined tea. And then when you drink the tea, that's when, this something else starts to happen that is mind-blowing. I mean, really the easiest way to say it is that it's mind-blowing. Like in my first experience, I drank the tea, had no idea for how much I should have had. It didn't seem like very much, right? And I found out that it was way more than I ultimately needed. So right there, it just showed me how wrong I was, right? And then I thought everything was normal, and the tea is known to make people vomit and purge and defecate and, just come out in all different directions. Part of that is physical and part of that is completely psychosomatic, where just your state of consciousness cannot hold the physical together anymore. And you literally are coming out all ends if necessary. And they call that purging, which is also quite intense. And usually has unbelievably visionary psychological connections associated with that. But really, I think after about, typically 15 minutes to a half an hour of drinking the tea, the shamans start playing a shakapa, which is a leaf instrument that makes a kind of a shook sound. So it's kind of like a rattle, but it's not as sharp. So it kind of sounds like shuk, 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 shuk. And as that starts to happen, the entirety of 3D reality around you starts to pulse with the sound. And then it starts to open up in a multi-dimensional state where you can start to see geometric patterns and colors, very much like the designs behind me, but in and through the air. And I know that's really hard to describe, but it is like you are all of a sudden within a matrix that was not previously there before, literally like tying the air atoms and molecules together. And it's all interwound, interweaved, and you are now part and parcel of it. And there's literally no extracting yourself from it. You can't be like, okay, pause button, reset the machine. Hey guys, I would like this to stop. I tried all of those things like thousands of times. They just do not work, right? There's no like stop button on the elevator, and you are like about ready. Like I remember my first ceremony, I thought, okay, if it doesn't get stronger from here, I'll be okay. And it didn't stop getting stronger for 4.5 hours. Like it literally got stronger every second for the next 4.5 hours. And I was not okay. Like I had lost all composition of myself. I vomited at least 100 times. I defecated all over the ground. I mean, it was wild. Like it was wild. But at the same time, you go into this like hyper lucid state. So this is not like getting drunk on alcohol where you're like sloppy and drooling and don't know what's going on. In your brain mind, it is super high definition Technicolor, and it is as real as anything. I mean, it's realer than the realest lucid dream. It's realer than your normal states of consciousness. Most people are blown away by the heightened sense of reality within the experience itself. So much so that a lot of people come out of it saying that what's going on inside that state of consciousness is real, and what we're experiencing is like a really muted version of that in our normal consciousness. So, that's where the somatic really starts to kick in, and you enter into a field of consciousness. Now, people can call that spirit. They can call it another world. They call it other dimensions. They call it lots of things. But I just like to think of it as a field of consciousness that has a lot more going on in it than your normal waking state. So there could be anything. There could be voices talking to you. There could be images of stuff coming and looking at you. Many people have reported seeing the eyes, like millions of eyes looking at them. And then this kind of telepathic communication starts to happen, where it certainly seems like something else is either in you or around you or there, and it's communicating with you, and it's faster than you are. So it's answering your questions before you're done asking them. Like you're getting to the thought itself, and it's already telling you. It's correcting you when you have things completely, backwards. You might be thinking it's one way, and it's like, no, look at it like this. And this is common now. I mean, thousands and thousands of people have spoken about this, that it doesn't just tell you verbally. It's not like there's a whiteboard with a teacher telling you the math equation. It's showing you in multi-D, in real time, what's going on. And in it, it's also got your ego, and it's got your super ego. It's got your whole mind. It's got your past. It's got your present. In many people's cases, it's got their future in it as well. And it's teaching you in this like super intense, real time, often too intense, it seems like at the time, kind of a grip. It just kind of like gets you into this grip, and then it is on. And, in the Amazon, they have a whole mythology for it as being just literal. They're like, yeah, that's what it is. You talk to the head medicine spirits. That's who they are. The mystics are just like, yeah, you had the experience. Now deal with it, dude. Like yesterday you didn't know about this, and today you did. Yesterday you didn't know there would be an iPhone 12. Now today you do. Like, just deal with it. Like, but it's so outside the Western box, right? I mean, it is like so outside it. It can throttle you really hard. It took me about 7 years to fully grasp what I had, gotten myself into. And I trained. I spent my first years training as an apprentice. I won an apprenticeship with Alberto and Julio. I became in essence, an equivalent of a blood relative of them, and was given the gift of being one of the first Western outsiders to really be allowed into an indigenous apprenticeship. And it was an unbelievable honor and a gift to have that happen in my early 20s.
That's the best explanation of the ayahuasca experience I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard them from you before, but you really reached in and grabbed the essence of it. Thanks for checking out this video. For more like it, please subscribe to my channel. And of course, the Aubrey Marcus Podcast with new episodes every single week. And follow me on Instagram @Aubrey Marcus. Thank you so much.